Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to the desktop for another retro RPG. And this week I would like to present this, Puppetland, a role-playing game by John Tynes. I'd also like to present this, Power Kill, also by John Tynes. Two role-playing games in one book. As you can see, they're from Hogshead Publishing. It's new style, one of their new style range, which I've covered. I believe actually this is the last of the range that I have to cover. It came out in 1999, although Puppetland itself was first published in 1997 in Arcane magazine, a role-playing magazine which was around at the time. The game itself had been invented back in 1995 by John Tynes, although I don't know how he published it, if it was over the web or to another manner, or whether it was just to his friends. Anyway, Puppetland is a role-playing game, a more storytelling-based one. It doesn't really have lots of stats and things, but it is based around being a puppet in a Puppetland. Let's start flicking through. A storytelling game with strings in a grim world of make-believe. We've got the table of contents on the inside cover here with the introduction, game of Puppetland, types of puppets, the puppet page, creating a puppet, playing a puppet, puppet mastering, Puppet Master Puppets. I seem to be saying puppet a lot, but it's very difficult not to in a game called Puppetland. Maker's Land, About Tales, Conclusion, and a blank puppet page. So, we start off with a fairy tale about the puppets. How Punch, the maker killer, has killed the maker of all puppets. And in Puppetland, the skies are dim always since the maker died. And the game is about being a puppet under this totalitarian rule of Punch and his Nutcrackers, who have killed the maker of puppets. Judy is known to have the last tear of the maker, and there's supposed to be a way of bringing him back. And basically your stories go from there. It's whatever the puppet teller wants to tell, it's whatever the puppets want to do. So we go through, we've got an introduction, the game itself, with some very simple rules. The first rule, an hour is golden, but it's not an hour. So every session of Puppetland is to take 1 hour, and 1 hour only. However, it doesn't necessarily cover just 1 hour in time. If you say you get on a ship and you travel 1,000 miles, and the Puppet Master says you arrive, well, that has happened in the time it took to take it. Although the journey itself may have taken weeks, it's still just included in the 1 hour of playtime. The second rule, what you say is what you say. Now, this one I have a bit of a problem with, because everything that a player says while he's at the game table is what his character says. So, if you burp and say pardon, then your character says pardon. If you say, what's behind the bookcase, then your character is standing there going, what's behind the bookcase? You have to describe your character. Oh, I wonder what's behind the bookcase. You have to say. So your character says that, and then the games master describes it for you. It's a bit annoying. It says if you want to do anything which isn't what your character's saying, you're supposed to stand up from the game table. The third rule, the tale grows in the telling and is being told to someone not present. So you're all telling a story together. You're telling a story to another person, and that's the way you're coming together. And there's an example of play there. The types of puppets. So you can be a finger puppet, which are short and small, light and quick and weak. They can move quickly, dodge things thrown at them. They cannot kick things, throw things, or grab things. Hand puppets are medium-sized, quite heavy and not very fast. They can move at a normal pace, dodge things thrown at them if they see them coming. They can grab things and hit things weakly. They cannot kick things, because they have no legs. Move quicker than a finger puppet, or move quieter than a finger puppet. Shadow puppets are tall and thin, light and quick and weak. They can move quickly, dodge things thrown at them by turning sideways. They cannot kick, throw, or grab things. Marionette puppets are tall and stocky, heavy, slow, and strong. They can move slowly, kick, throw, or grab things as heavy as they are, and hit things very hard. They cannot dodge things thrown at them or move very quickly. So basically you have different types of puppets. So simple shadow puppets, they're paper, they can turn side on to dodge things. But you've got the heavier marionette puppets, which are the heaviest ones and can do more physical activities. So we've got a puppet sheet, which describes character sheet, which we'll come to in a bit. Creating a puppet, it describes things, so it gives a sample here. Name, Sally Red Buttons. She's a hand puppet. She's medium-sized, sort of heavy, not very fast, not sort of strong, very clever, quite pretty, and good at magic tricks. She can move at normal pace, dodge things thrown at her if she sees them coming as soon as they're thrown, throw things, grab things, hit things weakly, do magic tricks, charm a puppet into doing her a favour, sing very well, and move quietly if she is lucky and careful. She cannot kick things, move quicker than a finger puppet. She cannot tell a lie, swim fast, hurt another puppet who hasn't or isn't about to hurt her or someone she cares for, or move quieter than a finger puppet. So you make up the things which are your character. It's very descriptive rather than number-based. It describes how to play a character. Puppet mastering, so we're into sort of game master section, which talks about how the rules work, how things are adjudicated, the tone of the game. And then we've got puppet master puppets, so we've got the bad guys, so we've got the stats for Punch the Maker Killer, we've got the Haunts, we've got Spites, Vengeance, Grief, Mayhem, Stealth. We've got the stats for Judy, who's the good puppet, and Nutcrackers, which are the soldiers of Punch. And then we've got a description of the world. So the sky, how basically it's a piece of cloth that touches the ground. The landscape, Puppet Town itself, Punch's Castle, the Lake of Milk and Cookies, Respite, the Candy Cave, and then a bit about the tales, what kind of stories, how they should be dealt with puppets. And conclusion leading up to the choice is yours. And then we've got the Puppetland character sheet here. You see, you've got the puppet name, what type of puppet, what the puppet is, this puppet can and it cannot, and you've got an area for drawing. Now, one of the bits I really like is when anything bad happens to your character, from they take some damage in an attack, to they do something which isn't very puppet-like and they break reality slightly. You colour in a segment of the jigsaw here, and your character fades away, and there is no way of recovering those pieces. If you take damage in one adventure, you are damaged forever. And when the final piece gets coloured in, the puppet will not recover at the end of that story. During the stories, at the end of every hour, the puppets go to sleep and they wake up for the next hour. But this puppet, when all the pieces are coloured in, will not wake for the next hour. And they know that. So they get to spend the rest of their hour after their final piece doing something heroic, because it doesn't matter. They are going to fade away and that character is dead. And I really like the darkness of that. It really leads to the darkness of children's tales somehow. And that is Puppetland. Now, I'll sum up a bit later, but let's have a look at Power Kill. Now, Power Kill is another sort of meta game. It tries to do much the same as Violence, but it does it in a much worse way. You see, Power Kill is a role-playing meta game. Getting started, each character needs to create his own Power Kill character. There are no stats, attributes, or skills to worry with. Just create a name, gender, race, and background for the Power Kill character. The setting is Earth in the modern day, just as you or I know real life. They should be ordinary people from all walks of life, no more bizarre than you or I. The sheet is a normal piece of paper, even a cocktail napkin could suffice. Write the requested information on the sheet, with the background running a couple of paragraphs or so. If the player wishes to draw a little sketch of his Power Kill character, they're welcome to. You put it inside a folder, and then you play another role-playing game. It suggests Vampire, Dungeons & Dragons, and other fantasy games. And at the end of your game session, where your Dungeons & Dragons character has gone and fought their way through a castle and killed countless orcs. At the end, the Games Master sits down and does a counselling session with your power kill character. As if they'd gone out and murdered people. And the Dungeons & Dragons session was their delusion. They saw themselves going out and killing orcs, but in reality they went out into a supermarket and they massacred people. And the Games Master is the counsellor. And it talks about this. In the game, the characters were secretive vampires confronted by a rival clan in a nightclub. A period of heated discussion ensued, followed by a sudden outbreak of violence, which the characters killed the rival clan. In the real world, player characters entered the nightclub. They hassled and provoked via argumentative behaviour a number of random clubgoers. An altercation ensued. They, being prepared for the use of deadly force, subsequently killed the chosen clubgoers. And it's basically making out that if you roleplay murder in a game, then you're a murderer in your heart. And it sort of sums that up at the end. Power kill is meant to suggest a few answers, or at least ask a few questions. Because you're playing a killer, you're a killer in your heart. You're doing psychopathic actions. I don't really like that. This is getting way back to the satanic panic of the 80s. It's getting back to everybody who watches a Rambo film is a psycho killer. There are no studies which say that doing these things lead to any negative reactions. In fact, there are studies which show that these kind of games lead to more stable and well-adjusted people. So I really don't like Power Kill. I think it's a piece of junk. I think it's pseudo-intellectual, going, oh, look, aren't we so smart? You're playing a murderer, so you're a murderer. That's my pseudo-intellectual accent, by the way. I probably should be ashamed of that. But Puppetland's really nice. It gets the tone of dark children's stories really, really right. I love the idea that the characters are doomed. It's way more so than even the World of Darkness, where people used to argue about who had the most doomed character. Anyway, that's 2 games, the last new style games by Hogshead Publishing that I have, at least. I believe that was all the ones which were published. As always, many, many thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing at all. But most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.